Our guest is in the waiting room. Should I let him in?
Yeah.
All right. Hey! Iron Mike Croft.
Hey there.
What's up, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good. Mark, right?
Yes. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. All is well.
So I have, these things, right?
Yeah,
sure.
And there's a mic on these, right? So if you think the audio would be better, I can try to use these.
I think he sounds okay. It
Yeah,
sounds
you
like
sound fine.
Okay, great.
You sound a little lower than us, like a guest.
which I think would make it sound like a real show.
Yeah.
Which it is.
Do you know what show it is, Mike? Do you want to say it?
Mag Room on Saturday night.
Mag Room on Saturday night.
All around the world you can hear them. Hey, hey, hey. Talking about news and kind of funny stuff. Hey, hey, hey. Mag Room. Mag Room. The Mag Room. The Mag Room.
Mike, before you came on, I actually Googled you just to see if you had anything interesting that was there. And there's just a lot of really, and I'll count you in this as well, but a lot of really impressive Mike Crofts. For Mike, his Croft Lab, Michael Croft, PhD, and his team focus on a number of molecules that are members of the tumor necrosis factor. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, no, I talked to that guy at our convention this year. It was in Santa Fe. The Mike Crofts get together every year.
Like a bunch of other PhDs, IMDb page, list of books by author Michael Croft.
Yeah.
The Fish Bum's Guide to Catching Larger Trout, an illustrated manual on stillwater tactics.
We have
and the title keeps
we have
going.
a book
That's
club
a
of
way
Mike
too
Crofts
long title.
reading Mike Crofts books.
It's very meta. Have you seen that Sisk that's in the news, Jared? The one that murdered his parents and brother and sister?
I didn't look at it. It's not Jared Sisk though, is it?
Mason Sisk. Every 2 weeks I'll put the name Sisk in there to see if anything good has happened that I can talk about with you. And it's the guy's getting his sentencing as of like 5 days ago. I think he got sentenced.
All right.
You're not allowed to kill your parents and your siblings.
Yes, good.
Well, we actually give I know you're not a regular listener, Mike, but we give a public service announcement at the end of every episode to not kill your wife.
That's pretty heavy.
Michelle and I were listening to an episode once, and I had never, she doesn't listen a lot, and it said that at the end with no context, and I was like, I wonder what she's thinking right now that we just said, remember, don't kill your wife.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you think of that as a public service message, Mike? You can't be against it, right? You'd sound like an asshole if you said, no, I think that's a bad one. So it's therefore a good one, right?
No, I don't think so.
It just doesn't need to be said? You think it's just like goes without saying that you shouldn't kill your wife? We don't need to say it at the end of every episode? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know. There's not a lot of PSAs advising people against capital crimes.
Why?
Maybe there should be.
Would there be less capital crimes if there were more things that said?
No, because, the story was the guy was on Family Feud, and he joked about killing his wife.
No.
And then killed
and then a few years later, his wife was murdered by him.
No way.
So maybe our PSA should be don't joke about killing your wife? The nexus of Mike coming on the show was the feedback that Mike and Alyssa gave us.
Oh, yeah, that they both hated the show. And,
my feedback was that I thought the strengths of the show were the letters, like the advice column stuff.
Dear Mukas?
Yeah.
They're not terrible? I thought they were terrible.
No, they're great.
I give terrible advice.
And then the news, the commentary on news articles.
I got some heavy stories this week.
You said tonight's show is going to be a historical episode. I thought that was pretty interesting.
History. Well, Mike was a history teacher.
So it's not historic.
Wait, you said was.
Well, he's an assistant principal. Vice principal? What's the title?
Assistant is the formal thing.
I've seen vice principal before. What's the difference?
I think that's a mostly outdated term.
Carries a gun.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because you would be like, that would be if the principal was murdered, you'd become in charge, and now they don't want that.
Did you ever see that show, Miami Vice Principal?
Yeah. No,
It was really good.
We should
It was
do that.
slick.
I'll grow more chest hair and.
Yeah, lots of linen pants. That'd be cool, dude. I'm not kidding. You would look awesome like that. Straight Miami style. Pinks, teals.
Would that be a spin-off, Miami Vice Principal, or a totally different show?
No, I think it would be a Saturday Night Live skit.
I see.
Jared likes to take things too far. I don't know how well you know Jared.
Yeah, reductio ad absurdum. His whole life is reductio ad absurdum.
Yeah. Mike and I have been friends for over 20 years.
Okay, so he knows what.
And we've eaten a lot of dinners together, and he's heard all my ridiculousness and still stuck around. So
yeah,
I think he knows.
And then the third thing that I have, the artifact for the show, is my son's the book that he just got for his freshman.
Holy smokes!
Grade history book.
They still use those kind of textbooks for history?
He does. He's been reading it, and it is. Let me tell you how many pages it is. I've been reading it too. I've been reading about Genghis Khan all week.
Okay.
It's
so you're gonna be ready for our history stories.
Totally. It's 1,300 pages long.
Holy smokes! What year is it from?
It seems like brand new.
Wow. What grade is it for?
9th grade.
It's a 9th grade history textbook?
Yes.
So they'll do all of that 1,300 pages in 9th grade.
I expect that they will. This is copyright 2018.
Wow. So it has all the new world history.
All the new world.
All right, so now Mike wants some prepared stuff. I guess we'll move on to the prepared.
Yeah, let him run the show.
Right.
Cool. So I told Jared, this is like the most prepared I've ever been. But then he told me today that it has to be history because Mike says so.
I did not say that. I said I'm trying to have themes lately from Mike's feedback.
Well, you just had the thing about why is it called the District of Columbia. Do you know why they're called Miranda rights? So Ernesto Arturo Miranda was an American criminal and laborer whose conviction on kidnapping, rape, and armed robbery charges based on his confession under police interrogation was set aside in the landmark U.S. Supreme Court case Miranda versus Arizona, which ruled that criminal suspects must be informed of their right against self-incrimination and their right to consult with an attorney before being questioned by police. This warning is known as a Miranda warning. So he got arrested for a rape. They identified his car. He got pulled over. On Monday, March 13th, 1963, Miranda's truck was spotted and license plates recognized by the brother of an 18-year-old kidnapping and rape victim, Lois Ann Jamison. So the cops pulled him over, did a police lineup. After the lineup, when Miranda, I just thought this was funny, asked how he did. I don't know, is that what you would say to a cop? Like, how'd I do?
In the lineup?
Yeah. Did I look cool?
Nice.
The police implied that he was positively identified, at which point he was placed under arrest, brought into the interrogation room. After 2 hours of interrogation, he had handwritten a confession to the kidnapping and rape. So he confessed, right? So he goes to jail.
Sure.
His lawyer takes it to the Supreme Court because under the circumstances of this case, where a police investigation is no longer a general inquiry into an unsolved crime but has begun to focus on a particular suspect, that's when you have to be told that you have the right to an attorney. And he was never told that he had the right to an attorney. He wrote this confession without ever consulting with one. So the Supreme Court overruled it, and then it went back and they found him guilty again in the state of Arizona. Ended up getting sentenced to 20 to 30 years for the rape and the murder of this girl. Did 5 years and got out, and he was murdered in a bar, and they never caught the guy who did it. They never caught the guy who murdered Miranda. So what was interesting to me about this was that it's not like they got him. He still had. He was guilty. I guess I thought Miranda rights, whoever Miranda was not guilty of whatever crime he was committed.
So he went to jail even though they coerced him into the testimony?
So they found him guilty, state of Arizona, but the lawyer said he was never informed that he had the right to have an attorney with him. So they overturned it at the Supreme Court level, but then it went back to the state level, and they found him guilty again. So he did do it. That's what I think is interesting. That the Miranda
rights... Isn't that double jeopardy though? You can't be tried twice. I saw that in a movie with Ashley Judd.
What a lot of people don't know about that Miranda versus Arizona is that in a concurring opinion, Justice Potter Stewart wrote that Miranda rights are best delivered while smashing the suspect's face into the troop car.
I don't understand. So wait, since he got... I thought if you don't get your Miranda rights, you don't go to jail.
No. So, all right.
So what happened?
Exist until
Nothing?
This case.
It's just like you have the right if they don't read them to you.
You're right. So his conviction was invalidated.
But they get to do it again. Hey, remember we didn't read you our rights. Let's do it this time. Hey, redo.
And then I still raped her. Like, oh. So why do we have to go through all? Why do we have to go through all of this? That was another angle. Because I don't know how. Like I said, Mike, I don't know your relationship with Jared, but Jared is a rules guy. He likes to make rules. He likes to follow rules. I was curious as to whether or not what you thought of this specifically, Jared, because it's definitely just it's a loophole. He was guilty.
Like, did they go afterwards? They said, rapist says what? He goes, what? Done.
Thought so.
Gotcha again, Buster.
It said he made money after he got out of jail by selling Miranda right cards with his autograph on them.
Oh.
So yeah, he seemed like kind of a scumbag.
So we should rename that too, is what you're saying. That's become the theme of this episode. For that, so I'm going to jump into my Sisk stories, my historical. I wrote the theme of today for the Sisk stories is historically awful stuff. All right, the first story is from GQ. It's called The Race to Catch the Last Nazis. So this is a story that just came out.
I was just reading about Operation Paperclip this week. We were both reading about Nazis this week.
Yeah, this guy who's a 63-year-old German Nazi hunter who's hired by Germany to do this still. They caught some 96-year-old woman who had processed a bunch of paperwork that killed a bunch of people, all the awful stuff Nazis did. So they were prosecuting a 96-year-old woman for this.
For basically being like a receptionist at a Nazi office?
Yeah. And
she
my
processed
question really is, at this point, is like, is this guy just like hanging on to this job? Like, how is this still... I have no disagreement that the Nazis were awful and that there was some...
Sounds like you're pro-Nazi.
There was some place for Nazi hunters.
Just let the Nazis be.
The Nazi hunters
haven't the Nazi party suffered
probably
enough?
Up to about, I don't know, 2010. But after that,
we're learning a lot about your rules things tonight, Jared. So you
get what do you guys feel about that?
Did she say 86 or 96?
Let's see.
How was she a receptionist at age 6 or whatever that would be?
Let's where? I should have highlighted this a little better. This is why we have editing.
Yeah, you still think the show should be more less produced, Mike? You gotta wait for Jared to read the stories he's brought with him.
So she was 91 years old. Irmgard Furchner, that's her name. 2 uniformed cops and a prosecutor showed up at the nursing home. Found Furchner in her bed in her room watching television. There were it says, Mike and Molly and the Big Bang Theory. She said she would face trial. She no-showed her first court date and spent 5 nights in a cell. And then when they convicted her, she took a train to Hamburg. She just got on a train. They were getting ready to put her in jail and she just took off. And they caught her. It's really hard, I think, at 91 to escape. Then she died. She died soon after. She was found guilty of 11,387 counts.
Of like stamping something that put somebody to death, probably?
Yeah.
Now, how old was she in 1930 or 1941 or whatever it would have been? I'm blanking on.
She was 91 in 2017. So she was born in 26. So I guess she was old enough to stamp stuff.
15 or 16. Okay, yeah, but I mean, was she old enough to like have a conscience about what she's doing?
I didn't really understand. I mean, maybe it keeps it in people's mind, right? You're still prosecuting people, so people are like, this thing's bad.
Yeah.
But
they're pretty committed to the this thing was bad stuff in Germany, which is good for them.
Jared doesn't seem to think so. He was like,
That's always been his thing.
All right, second one from BBC. Ritual mass murder, right? We've talked about it a little bit in the show. Yeah. So, 5 police cars descended on the North Sea Observatory in Chapel Street, Leonards, Lincolnshire on Wednesday night. 22-year-old teacher was teaching 7 students at the Seascape Cafe. 2 dog walkers peered in and then ran away frightened. And all the... it was a yoga class. So everyone was in like a corpse pose, and the people came up and thought it was a ritualistic suicide or killing, because the lady was like moving around the room with candles, and everyone was acting dead. So what this made me think was interesting was then I did a deep dive into mass suicides.
Yoga. Okay.
Like ritualistic suicides. And I was like, this stuff's fascinating. Like awful. Again, remember, this is awful history.
Have you ever listened to the actual tape of the Jim Jones thing?
I spent 30 minutes this afternoon reading about Jim Jones.
There's audio of that whole thing. It's really crazy.
Of the end, right?
Yep.
Do you know about Jim Jones,
I don't know
Mike?
a thing about Jim Jones.
Seriously?
And I still don't understand how those kids died from doing yoga.
I get
Tell
it
me about
now.
Jim Jones.
He was a big deal. He was friends with like Walter Mondale and Jimmy Carter's wife, because he was in San Francisco. It was like a hobnobber. There was a dinner he had for his church or whatever. They all were there. So then he decides they want to live this socialist life, so they're going to set up. There's too much heat. People are getting questions. They're going to set up over in Africa this society. And he's not there at first. And according to the Wikipedia, everything...
It's actually Guyana. Yeah, it's off the coast of South America.
It's true.
Yeah, sorry.
True. That makes... Yeah, that's a lot different. So, South America...
Just trying to correct you. Maybe make it seem like you did a little work for this episode.
I know. I did a little work. Just that's it. Jim Jones shows up. And it seems like he's like out of his mind when he shows up. He just starts cracking down on everything. And they do like these pretend suicide things. And people want to leave, but they don't let. They have all these guards. Like it seems like it's a bad move, like a TV movie at this point, right? Like you're gonna slip somebody a note. So finally, news gets back to San Francisco. So the congressman, one of the congressmen of San Francisco, goes over there with a group. It's
Leo
like,
Ryan.
He's like, I'm gonna check this out. This is insane, right? Goes over there. First, they're not going to let him in. Then they let him in. And some of the people are like, you got to get me out of here. And people tell on him that the people are trying to get out. So they get some people out. They're going to fly out. And basically, a bunch of guys from the thing open fire on the congressman and all the people in the thing. And they kill, like, all of them. And that's when they go back to the place. And Jim Jones is like, all right, now we're all going to die. And they make this concoction of... It's not even Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid got such a bad rap. It wasn't Kool-Aid. I forget what it was, but it wasn't
Flavor-Aid.
Flavor-Aid. I don't even know what that is. They didn't get the bump. They didn't get the Jim Jones bump.
It's really good Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid got the bump. Now it was successful. Flavor-Aid could have been Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And they just all drink this stuff. 900-something people died.
Come on.
You guys have never heard about Jim Jones before this week? I've literally watched like hundreds of hours. All right, I might be exaggerating. Seriously, go listen. If you like morbid, crazy shit, listen to the actual tapes of. You hear the crazy music in the background. Right? You hear little kids crying. Yeah, you hear women wailing. I've watched documentaries about it. There's a movie. I might be able to I think I have it on DVD. I could send you a DVD of who played him? Powers Booth, I think, played him in the movie, if I remember correctly.
Interesting.
It's a good movie about it. Yeah. It's a cool story. I mean, not a cool story, but it's,
feel like those Nazi hunters. Feel good story.
How do you get so many people to drink the Flavor Aid? It's how do you get so many people to believe you're all right? I'm going to Suriname with this guy. I'm uprooting my life. I'm gonna move to South America. I'm gonna live on a commune with nothing. We have to start from like. There's not even like benches. We're living in the jungle from now on, and me, you, the kids, we're all going.
No, I agree with you. The idea that like, what's that scene like? They go home, husband, wife, they're like, hey, listen, there's this guy Jim. I met him. He said we're gonna give away all our stuff and go live with nothing in the floor.
Where are we going? I don't know if I'm comfortable with this.
I think it's Africa. I don't know. Maybe South America.
Are you sure it's not South America? I know you get a lot of those countries confused.
One of those places.
Vaguely racist.
Yeah,
you're Eurocentric in your thought.
I learned world history from a 1,300-page book, and we didn't get to the geography section.
I got bored in the middle of that book too.
Said some male members of the group underwent voluntary castration.
Yeah, imagine your leader asked you to do that. All right, Jared, got a big meeting today. I just want a couple things I want to talk to you about this week in the parish. First things first, I want you to cut your dick off and your balls, or well, I guess it's just your balls, right?
Yeah, you still gotta pee. You can't cut off your penis.
What would you think about an entire castration episode?
Like a live castration going on?
Well, that would
just screaming. This might be our lowest rated show with just our awful history stories. So we'll see. Maybe we can.
Or do they do it surgically? Like, would it be like us hog tying somebody and cutting his balls off, or us going like to a hospital room?
Do we just tell a guest they're going to be on and just do it, and they don't know?
We didn't commit suicide. We committed an act of revolutionary suicide, protesting the conditions of an inhumane world.
All right. Well, the last one's kind of a feel-good one to end.
They've all been pretty good, pretty feel-goody so far.
Does everybody remember Benedict Arnold?
Yes.
The omelet guy, right? Or the breakfast sandwich? Yeah.
You know, and I'll start. Guy Fawkes.
The rebel.
The guy who and he wanted to blow up Parliament. He didn't. But a lot of them do bonfires, right?
And they make cool masks about him.
The 5th of November. Remember. Isn't that what it is? 5th of November?
Yeah.
So there's the same thing in America that we have not been celebrating enough. 242 years ago, Benedict Arnold, right before the end of the Revolution, right? Big trader.
Loved breakfast.
Like he was USA, then he was like selling secrets. He turns over to the British, right? That's why we say, like, still today, you could call someone a Benedict Arnold,
Eggs
people
Benedict.
know.
Yep.
Yeah. Eggs Benedict Arnold, that's an eggs you don't want. That's turned on you. So he went, the last raid, he was from Connecticut. I didn't know that.
I figured.
His last raid was on New London, and he burned most of New London to the ground. So now what they have is a party in New London every year on September 9th.
Oh, you missed it.
The Burning of Benedict Arnold Festival. So they have an effigy of him that says traitor on it, and they burn it. And the crowd yells, burn the traitor of it. And they said there used to be tons of these festivals all over the U.S.
Benedict Arnold specifically?
Yes.
Really?
That burned, I think this is the thing we need to bring back. This is how you exorcise those demons.
By burning something in effigy?
You have burning festivals.
I kind of like
that
idea.
The crowd chants USA while it was happening.
So do they light something on fire that looks like Benedict Arnold, like a dummy?
Yes.
Is it pretty well made, or is it kind of crappy? It's just a piece of wood with a face drawn on it?
It's like that story, The Lottery. They pick someone from the town.
That'd be cool.
Nice, wow.
Or like a guy on death row or something.
Yeah. It's got 2 faces on it, probably because he was a traitor.
Not because of the Batman character.
The residents still wanted to celebrate Guy Fawkes Day, but they weren't English, so they created this American version, which I think we all should celebrate.
What was Benedict Arnold? Was he like in the government? I mean, I know he was a turncoat, but was he like an official? Was he like a government official?
He was a high-ranking Continental Army officer with Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, these were widespread and they said until the Civil War, then they kind of died out. And then New London brought it back. I guess they didn't tell the police the first year, and they were less than pleased with the yelling, burning, and musket firing. But they resolved those issues and have now carried on. Did you have, was this all that you dreamed of and more, or no?
Yeah, I guess intellectually I knew that the sound effects weren't a part of the recording, but like...
It still surprised me when there weren't sound effects.
Oh, and it's just a boring ass... Yeah, you should listen. I get to go back on like Wednesday of next week and listen to this conversation.
All right, so I should wrap it up then?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, you're the guy who has to go.
Well, yeah, but Mike was the one that made it a history thing this week, so I thought he was in charge of that. But yes, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to wrap it up. I apologize if you had a lot more to talk about.
No, it's fine. Whatever, you're in charge. It's your thing. It's your cult, Mark.
Oh, that would be great.
You want me to castrate myself too?
I would love it if you guys would be my subjects. You're both married. I'd have wives to fool around
with.
Is that? Oh, that's definitely a part of my cult. Yes, I get access to your wife, unfettered access. You don't get to have and I get to have sex with your wife. It's like, come on, honey, I don't think I like this cult very much. I'm losing.
Did you already sign the paperwork? Because I think we could probably back out of this. All right, I'll wrap it up for you then, Mark, because you have other things to do. Maybe Mike wants to stay on for a few minutes.
If you guys want to stay on, that's fine with me.
I think I'm gonna get moving.
Oh, wow. All right. I just meant catch up otherwise, but all right. Produced by Benedict Arnold. Theme song by Mega Yellox. Email mugaandcisco@gmail.com.
Ooh, are you going to promote Mike's hockey games?
Watch, what's the website?
Oh, I don't know.
Northwest Hockey.
Northwest Ice Hawks on YouTube.
Google or YouTube search. What is it called when you search on YouTube? I don't know. Search on YouTube Northwest Ice Hawks games and listen to Mike. And you could give him some you could email us some feedback. Maybe one of our listeners will listen to one and email us some feedback, and we can read that on a future episode.
And if you do that, they usually invite you on the show.
We do like letters, though, Mike, so if you ever want to write us a letter, is better.
Okay.
Send it to the Magroom 10152 Indiantown Road, P.O. Box 9, Jupiter, Florida 33478. Few things, announcements at the end we always do. Put down your phone this week.
Yeah.
Engage with the world after you listen to this podcast, obviously. Put down your phone. Don't kill your wife.
Don't ask me to cut my balls off.
Don't join anything that asks you to cut your balls off. That'll be our new thing. Remember your Miranda rights.
It's actually Miranda. Ramanda rights are totally different.
When you go to Africa, remember your Ramanda rights. That's what you'll...
It's a Bengali word.
You always remember that. And if none of that works... Oh, and thanks for Mike for being on.
Thank you, Mike. That was fun.
Thanks, guys.
And if none of that stuff works, you can always do this. What can you do, Mark?
You can stick with the Magroom.
With the Magroom. And everything else
is cream cheese.
Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good. The my groom's good. Ooh, ooh, I like my groom. I like my groom. Ooh, ooh, my groom is good. My groom is good.
Listen, I'll cut off my balls, but I'm not cutting off my penis, all right?
That's always been his thing.
Irmgard Furchner. Irmgard Furchner. Irmgard Furchner. Irmgard Furchner.